Your day moves fast. Your news should too. That's why there's a new and improved Wish TV app bringing you more local news, breaking alerts, live streaming, weather forecasts, radar, and Indiana sports all in one place. Customize your news feed to see the stories that matter most to you and get the information you need when you need it. Download the new and improved Wish TV app today on iOS or Android and take News 8 with you everywhere.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network,
This is AC's Conversations.
AC's Conversations is about sports, music, TV, movies, and more.
Everything and more.
Everything is ready to go.
That include the latest news and rumors, along with interviews with the biggest names in sports and entertainment.
This
Is AC's Conversations with your host,
News 8 Sports Director
The man is the real deal.
Let's go to work, brother.
Anthony Calhoun.
Good evening to you. Welcome live to Sports Locker Sunday. I'm Anthony Calhoun alongside here with Angela Moryan and Andrew Chernoff. Thank you for joining us here tonight on Sports Locker Sunday. We got so much to talk about tonight. We know, you just saw right there, the Purdue Boilermakers headed to the NCAA tournament once again. It seems like it's just, hey, it's March. Matt Painter has his team in the big dance. The big news, of course, we're watching tonight as well. IU not going to the NCAA tournament for the second year in a row. We got a lot to get to, but first, let's just talk about number one. It's Selection Sunday. There were some surprises here we saw, but overall, there's nothing like March Madness, right?
Nothing like March Madness. I already have the bracket printed out.
Yeah.
As you can see, it's not filled in yet because we still have a lot of work to do, but
Yeah.
it's like Christmas morning.
It is, and it's funny because you look at the bracket that you fill out, and it's going to be fun in about a week or even just a few more days and see how wrong it is. But it definitely feels like it's the best time of year every single year.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get through the first four in my bracket. I think it'll bust.
You
Already.
think so? Well, you had a tough time last year, remember?
I did.
Hey, let's take a look, though, at the last of four teams in this year's NCAA tournament. And that's been a lot of talk here tonight because I know a lot of folks thought IU may find its way into the field of 68. But look at the last four teams here. You got Texas, Xavier, San Diego State, and then the big surprise right there, North Carolina. The first four out, West Virginia, there's IU, the second team out of the field there, and then Ohio State, Boise State. But when you look at all those 8 teams there was conversations about all those teams throughout this weekend here. And the good news for the bubble teams, there weren't a lot of upsets here when it came to the conference tournaments. And so it was probably the lightest bubbles, if you think about it, as far as getting in the tournament in many years. But the big question, Angela and Andrew, North Carolina. I mean, you can say what you want about Indiana. I mean, IU, and I tweeted this, IU's best win is better than any victory that North Carolina had, yet the Tar Heels are in there. Now, when I look back at and you think about just all the comparisons with records and what they look at, if you're West Virginia tonight, you got to be saying, what did we do wrong? But let's start first. How surprised were you not to see Indiana in the field of 68?
I wasn't that surprised. More surprised that UNC was in the field of 68, just because the ACC has been down all season. The Big Ten is a much stronger conference, so you would think that the wins that IU had or the losses against strong Quad 1 Big Ten teams would have outweighed them against UNC, who struggled all year long, yet somehow UNC is in. And we see that too, Andrew, with Louisville. Louisville gets to the ACC championship, loses, but they're an 8 seed. That shows you how the committee felt about the ACC this year, yet somehow UNC gets in.
And Andrew, when you look at Indiana, we knew that Indiana had a tough preseason as far as getting ready, right? And then after that, throughout the season, has some tough loss here. Give me your thoughts on just the Hoosiers not making it to the big dance.
Not a surprise, but surprise based on who made it. I think that's fair to say because you look at IU, and again, they had opportunities, and there's no question you never want to put yourself in that situation when you're on that bubble because there's a lot of what ifs. You put yourself in the situation, there's a chance you're not going to make it. But I am surprised at UNC because they were 1-12 against Quad 1 teams. And again, Angela, you referenced it, Louisville seeded as an 8. That's what the committee thought of the ACC. So you would think based on that UNC was going to be penalized a little bit more because the conference was so weak. That proved to not be the case. But again, if you're IU, you're going to look back and be like, you had a couple close games here. What could have been? You had some opportunities. And yeah, it's a coin flip when you get to that point year in and year out.
Yeah, let's take a look at IU's resume here for the Hoosiers. And they did have some key wins here. I mean, but 19-13 overall, we know that net ranking is 54. Quad 1 wins. This I thought was very interesting. And we saw a team like North Carolina only had 1. I thought it would be interesting, whereas Indiana, I said if they were not going to get in, that means the committee was not going to let a team in out of the Big Ten with zero Quad 2, Quad 3 losses. I mean, they ran the table there. Interesting here, the strength of schedule we saw there at 19, but overall here, the Hoosiers, they're not in for the second year in a row. Now, Angela, I know you had a chance to talk to the NCAA committee as well about this decision with IU, right?
Right, and the weird thing I'll tack on to what you said, AC, is that the UNC had a Quad 3 loss.
Yeah.
So the only IU's losses were to Quad 1 teams. But yes, I did ask the selection committee rather, chair and vice chair, about what actually was the defining factor for IU not making the tournament. Here's what they said.
I tell you, it was tough. You know, Indiana didn't have a single loss outside the first quadrant. But, you know, they didn't play that well in the challenging non-conference schedule. So the metrics were just slightly below the ones that ended up getting in.
To be honest with you, when you look at the opportunities that they had in the Quad 1 area, they didn't take advantage of those opportunities in a way, and then their metrics also were down relative to the teams that got into the field. That's really kind of what it came down to.
Yeah, not much explanation there. I will say, Bubba Cunningham, as everyone who watched the selection show knows, he is the athletic director at UNC. He does say that he wasn't in the room for any of those discussions on the bubble teams, so that's why he defaulted more to Keith Gill on what actually went down in defining moments.
Good interview, and I thought it was interesting what he said about how Indiana did not take they didn't take advantage of the opportunities that was in front of them. Now, I struggle with that because you look at UNC, they went 1-12. So UNC didn't take advantage of the opportunities that were in front of them as well when it comes to Quad 1s. And at the end of the day, when you're on the bubble, this could happen. I mean, so therefore, you got to take advantage of opportunities. Indiana had a chance to beat Maryland. They had a chance to close the door on a lot of teams. Could have beaten Oregon, did not get it done here in Indianapolis. So as for IU, they're done for the season. No NIT for them. They declined any postseason type of play. So they're done with that. And now, of course, the big question for Hoosiers, who's going to be their next head coach coming up down in Bloomington. I'm sure that's a story we'll be following throughout the week. Now, to Purdue. Boiler up. Purdue headed to the NCAA tournament for the 10th straight on High Point. That's coming up on Thursday. We know the time now, 12:40 out in Providence, Rhode Island. You know, there's so many things you can say about this Purdue basketball team. I tell you what, the one stat that stood out to me, I know we're going to get to in a minute, but Purdue, 8 straight years as a 4 seed or better when you think about it in the NCAA tournament. That is insane there, Andrew.
Yeah, it's the consistency, and Matt Painter even talked about that tonight. It's impressive what this team has been able to do in earning those 4 seeds or better in the NCAA tournament. And again, let's talk about it. They lost Zach Edey last year, and yes, you knew there were going to be some ups and downs with this year's team, but they have proven that they're still a pretty doggone good basketball team. Not as consistent, I would say, as last year, but again, you look at the Big Ten, you look at Purdue, I feel like there's maybe 20 teams on that category right there of just could make a run in the Elite Eight, and Purdue easily could be one of those teams. I was up in West Lafayette tonight. We heard from Matt Painter about the seed and what he expects going forward.
Be excited about being a 4 seed and like you've achieved something. Like, you know how many people would love to be in our position? Like, we've had really, really high goals, and we've raised their expectations in this program, so sometimes things are taken for granted. You see all those people cheering, and when we hear our name, like, we're excited, but like we're not cheering like that way, the same as everybody else. Like, but we have to be excited about playing.
It's a completely different level compared to the regular season, so everybody has to be locked in. I've had, you know, great wins and great losses here. A lot of different experiences, you know, with this team. So hopefully that plays to our, you know, advantage.
And one of the things that everyone kept saying up there, there's so much experience. Caleb First has played 10 tournament games. I mean, they've got a lot of experience.
Yeah, and something that they were saying during the Big Ten tournament this week too was this team is not used to losing. That's why this season was so kind of shocking about their inconsistency, because look at this.
Yeah.
As they get the St. Elmo Hot Stat of the Week, of course they do. 10 straight NCAA tournament appearances. Like AC said, 8 straight time that they've been a 4 seed or better. 7 quad 1 wins this season as Purdue, even on their lower end of their spectrum of what they could have done this year, still a 4 seed, deservedly so, going into the tournament.
Yeah, and I think we're going to talk more about Purdue tonight, but I truly believe that Purdue, they should be feeling pretty good, because I think they deserved that 4 seed. You know, the way they played in this season and even going into the Big Ten tournament, you're like, are they going to go to the 5 line? I think the 4 seed is perfect for the Boilermakers. Now, I'll tell you why when we take this break here. It's time for a break, but we got more coming your way. We're not done talking March Madness with you tonight. Anthony Calhoun, Angela Moryan, Andrew Chernoff here tonight as we continue to work our way through Purdue in the NCAA tournament. If you just joined us, IU did not get a part of this year's NCAA tournament, but let's continue to talk more about the Boilermakers going to their 10th straight NCAA March Madness for Matt Painter and his basketball team. I had a chance to spend some time with Andy Katz, the college basketball insider, just a couple of days ago. And he told me, he's like, if there's one team that a team should be concerned about if they see him in the bracket, and that is, he said, Matt Painter's Purdue Boilermakers. And I think the reason why he said that is because when you look at this team, what they did last year, it just, you look at Purdue and you're like, wow, the experience factor. And guard play, we know in any game, it always matters. And when you have 2 guards like Purdue has that have been in these big moments and pressure moments, right? I go back to the Tennessee game. It could be a nightmare for an opposing team, regardless the 1 seed they could possibly face in Houston, or possibly, you know, the 2 seed in Tennessee down the road as well.
Yeah, I think we saw a huge jump from those 2 guards, Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer, from their freshman years when they lost to FDU in that first round, to then making the national championship game last year. That was because they matured on the court. They had that level of experience. So throw the whole regular season out, AC. Just throw it out, because this team knows how to play in March. They know how to win. They're not going to get thrown off by all the lights and cameras and media and travel, because it's a business trip for them, and they know how to win. High Point, you don't want to overlook any team. But when you look at this bracket, you play High Point, then if you win either Clemson or McNeese, you should be making the Sweet 16.
Yeah, if you're looking at Purdue in their draw, I'd take that in a heartbeat. Clemson is good, but they're very inconsistent. We've seen that this year. McNeese could give Clemson a run for its money, and of course, Purdue should cruise against High Point.
Okay, so here's the deal, folks. This could be very interesting if all the seeds make their way through here to Indianapolis. We could have Houston, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Purdue all right here in the place that knows how to put on the NCAA tournament, and that's here, of course, in Indianapolis. Those games could possibly take place at Lucas Oil Stadium of all top 4 seeds in the Midwest region. If they get it done in those first 2 rounds, I think the Midwest region is the toughest bracket when you think about them. You just look at that right there. That could be a Final 4 when you look at those teams right there as well, right?
It's the sexiest top 4 seeds in the Midwest, or in the region. Yeah. I love that.
And good luck getting a ticket to those games if those teams pan out. Okay, we're going to make our predictions real quick. We got more coverage coming up, right? So let's make our predictions. Who we think is going to win it all. And yours truly, I want to go with Houston. I think Houston somehow gets through the Midwest region. I think they make it to the Final 4, obviously, and they win it all. What do you say go, Andrew?
I'm going with Auburn. They're the best team in the country. SEC tested. I think this is their year.
Yeah, I'm going with the team that beat Auburn in Tennessee. You gotta love those Vols.
Yeah, well, we got 2 teams coming out of that Midwest region right here in Indianapolis.
Discover more at wishtv.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Plus, be sure to follow and subscribe to the AC's Conversations podcast and others on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Connect now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.